musical, and it's a gutsy sort of night of singing, talking, dancing, drinking in a local pub in England. So it's sort of English folk songs and pop songs and rock songs.
Songs of the Wellerman sort of things.
Say again?
Songs of the Wellerman.
Yeah. And it's a cast of, I think it's 9 men, written by or created by Nick Doodson and Andrew Kay. It's been here before. I saw it a couple of years ago, a different cast this time. 70 minutes, 9 cast, 90 minutes, and a bit of a hoot, a real hoot and a hootenanny, and a bit of a dance around. That's fun. The other one that's finishing, so that's tomorrow finishing. The other one that's finishing tomorrow is A Midsummer Night's Dream by Mr. Shakespeare in the Botanical Gardens. That's the Australian Shakespeare Company, and that is a very cheeky, fun, playful version under the star. Quite a young cast, incorporates a lot of contemporary language, etc., etc. So another day of that, but there's a new production of, or an old production or another production they're doing end of the month, which I believe, if I'm not wrong, is also Much Ado About Nothing.
Yes,
so
we had that today.
Yes, I was listening. There are 2 of them going around the same time. So this is back in the Gardens, and that's a really terrific production with a lot of the older actors from that company. So shall I carry on with 17?
Carry on as much as you like.
Carry on as much as I like. You just tell me when to wind down. Wind me up and off I go. So 17 is written by Matthew Whitted, and that's a Melbourne Theatre Company show. Did you see it, Nick?
No.
And Philippa, you didn't see it, did you?
No. I've read your review, though.
Oh, well, there you go. You can chip in, just go, what the hell were you talking about, Herbert? So this runs till the 17th, so it's got another week to go. It really is a treat, and I would say a privilege, to see a cast of what I would describe as exceptional older local actors, Melbourne-based or Australian-based, all on stage together, which I think is the highlight of this show. The performances are the highlight of the show. It's called 17 because all of these older actors play 17-year-olds.
Oh, golly.
One's about to turn 18 overnight. So there they are on their last day of school, essentially celebrating end o' school and doing a kind of, not a schoolies mess up at the school, but at a local playground. And all sorts of things about their presents and pasts and futures come out in this narrative. So their relationships are tested, their friendships are tested, the boyfriend-girlfriends come a bit unstuck. They think about their futures, and in fact, what is a fairly adolescent kind of dialogue going on, seems a bit younger than 17, 18-year-olds. It's more like 14, 13-year-old kids getting plastered on, various kinds of booze in this playground. That language switches to be quite sophisticated, almost lyrical postulations about their futures.
So is it important that they are older actors because their futures come into play in this?
Their actual futures don't come into play. Their visions of their futures, they talk about the dreams of what they would like to be or what they fear might happen. But what I love about it is that we see these young people, but can also perceive how they will be as older people, because we're looking at them as people who are 40 years older, probably, some more than that. I think there's some imbalance between that adolescent banter and bickering and those revelatory monologues about their views of their life and the world, etc. Robert Menzies, wonderful. I'll watch him in anything. In fact, all of these people. But really, he is delightful.
I was thinking, was Romeo and Juliet he was in last year?
He was the friar,
and he was as an older actor. It was a great production.
But he took the
really
stage.
stood up. You saw what experience matters.
Absolutely,
how it matters. Yeah.
Yeah. When you put a very experienced actor in amongst younger ones, they do stand out, and they're not pulling focus at all. They're just really good. So they're acting. He captures this character of Tom. He's introverted, he's genuine, and he's caring, this character. Genevieve Pico, again, another fantastic person we rarely see. She finds vulnerability in this brittle and awkward Emilia. Richard Piper, extroverted, good-looking Mike. He's the focus of the group. He's terrific. Pamela Rabe, compelling as this audacious and very popular Jess, who's Mike's girlfriend. A chap I've never seen before, whose name is George Shevtsov. Soph, who plays Ronnie, who's the sort of outsider, the one who's been called the weirdo, and he's just sneaked along and, joined the party, really. And younger sister, Fiona Choi, playing Mike's younger sister, who's also marvellous, does a lot of musical theatre. I think it's a very interesting show and worth seeing.
I mean, that's a company that should be just
be
doing
a
stuff
company.
as themselves.
Just
yeah,
be
what
a company.
What a team. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have one more. Did you want to do a bit of a musical break first or something? Or?
No, let's do a musical break, and then we're going to talk about the marathon.
And then I've got Groundhog Day.
Oh,
which
yes.
I really want to talk about.
Going to see that. Okay, we'll play a track, and then we will come back. Back there. So we're back with Kate Herbert. Now, before we go, we're going to talk about, so coming up, we have the marathon. It's Transfigured. It's a Primrose Potter Salon, Melbourne Recital Centre on Saturday, the 24th of February. So single concert tickets and concert packages are on sale via 3mbs.org.au. Wilma Smith returns as the artistic director, and she has used the 150th anniversary of Schoenberg's birth and the transformative experience of listening to his Transfigured Night as a theme for this year's event. There's 5 virtuosic concerts presented in the intimate salon, allowing audience to be close to the artists. Each concert has been designed to give audience that feeling of awe when they've experienced something extraordinary. And alongside Schoenberg's Transfigured Night, concert number 2, just a few of the program highlights include Ensemble Liaison's performance of Brahms' Clarinet Trio in A minor, Chopin's iconic Funeral March Sonata performed by pianist Pavali Jumpanen, Rebecca Clark's astonishing Rarely Heard Piano Trio performed by Trio Anima Mundi, and Carl Nielsen's riveting Wind Quintet, performed by 5 extraordinary soloists who have come together to form the Australian Wind Quintet. So that is definitely something.
It'll be fabulous. Yes, I'm going to especially going to see Transfigured Night because I'll be here on the Saturday morning. But it's the most wonderful. When people think Schoenberg, they go, "Oh my God!" Not, but it's his really late romantic, and it's the most astonishing piece. It's for string quartet. It's for string ensemble. It's been orchestrated. It is a transformative experience.
There you go. You will be transformed. Or transfigured. No, transformed.
Both, yes.
Both. So, Kate, tell us about Groundhog Day. So, Tim Minchin he's the man.
And speaking of being transfigured at night, that's essentially what Groundhog Day is about. This is Groundhog Day the Musical. If you've not seen the movie, it doesn't matter. I've spoken to a few people who loved it, particularly younger people who loved it. Don't know the movie. Amazing, they don't know the movie.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No, because it's a musical version, but it's not just the film on stage like Dirty Dancing was, which was a bit of a debacle. That's a whole other story. But yes, Tim Minchin, music and lyrics, and book by Danny Rubin, and it's directed by Matthew Warchus, who was, I think, my hero as a director. He directed Matilda, Warhorse, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He directed A Christmas Carol that I raved about in December, and just about everything fantastic that's coming out of the UK. He's an extraordinary, inspired director. To make, I just have to say, yes, first of all, Tim Minchin's wonderful songs, black humour, they enliven and liberate and the characters, illuminate them and advance the story and create relationships and build layers of emotion and mood, but it's very, very funny. And I know Nick's not all that keen on this, but I reckon
I'm
would
getting
love
more
it.
and more
I
interested.
think you
Thank
might
you.
love
Yes,
it.
yes.
And I've had a lot of people, as I was saying earlier to both of you, people of different ages saying they also adore it. And I gave it 5 stars. And people out there, I don't do it very often.
Well, that's a recommendation from Kate Herbert.
It's so just to give you an idea of what happens. Andy Carl, American musical theatre performer, is exceptional in every way as this character Phil Connors, who is the cynical, egotistical TV weatherman who goes off to the
Played by Bill Murray originally.
Yeah, played by Bill Murray. So this guy's sing and dancing version of Bill Murray. He goes off to Punxsutawney, the town, Punxsutawney, Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania. Sorry.
Yeah.
Every 2nd of February, this was the 1st of Feb, I saw it, these folksy townspeople celebrate the appearance of a groundhog named Punxsutawney Phil. Just happened to be Phil, like Phil Connors, the weatherman. And if Phil the groundhog sees his shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. It seems to happen every year. There's always more winter. And they all celebrate. And this blizzard hits that Phil Weatherman had predicted would not hit this town. He and his producer, played by Elise McCann, and his cameraman get trapped there. What happens is he goes to sleep, wakes up, and it's the same day. If you haven't seen the movie, over and over. I think it's hundreds and hundreds of days by the sound of it that go by. Every morning he wakes up. It's not the Sonny and Cher song that must have rights, so you don't get that first thing in the morning like you do in the movie. He wakes up and he has to go through that day again. Initially, it's just weird and he doesn't understand it. Then it gets kind of funny. Then he starts taking advantage of people as he repeats the day. You know, he picks up a new girl every day. He has a party with different drugs every night. He goes and gets drunk with different people. It's not for tiny kids, teenagers upwards, I would say. There's also some fraught, some days are fraught and nightmarish. Some are clownish. But at one point towards the end, he just says, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, may as well die today. So he does all these bizarre and, I have to say, black comic suicide attempts. Well, they're not attempts because, you know, he does suicide, but he wakes up the next day.
Cool.
Good grief.
But
We're taking the kids from school to this show.
How old are they?
Oh, teenagers.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Teenagers will be fine. No, really, this is very, very small moments, but it's all illusion. He jumps off something and then he appears down the front in an illusion. So there's lots of magic in it as well.
Oh, okay.
So the thing that I find extraordinary about it, I'm getting a bit excitable, is that it's repetition. It's all based on repetition. And I think that in any other show I'd be saying, repetition, it's not your friend.
It's very hard to pull off, yeah.
It's very hard to pull off, but they have to repeat it. So this parade goes on, all the scenes go on, he does different things every day with it, they skip certain things, but the writing and the direction make this work.
Fantastic.
It's really terrific.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I better get myself into gear and stuff. Can I do a couple of plugs, please?
You can.
It's Happy New Year, everybody out there. Happy Lunar New Year. And so until
yes.
21st of February, QV Melbourne is welcoming the Year of the Dragon with the Dragon's Tail. It's a giant custom-built dragon tail, different spelling, and it'll dance in the wind, reaching over 6 metres tall. You can visit Dragon's Tail at QV Square between 1 and 4 p.m. daily to receive a share in over $18,000 worth of red package giveaways.
Oh, nice.
And writer Bon Wai-Chao has written many short stories in her own unique style and has won an exclusive one that you can access there via a QR code. So hop along there. The Flinders Fringe Festival is coming up next weekend on the 17th of February and we'll be talking on Arts Weekly about it. Meantime, visit flindersfringe.com.au to get a heads up.
And of course, our friends at the Chinese Museum would have
there's
all
plenty
sorts
going
of
on
things
there.
for Chinese New Year.
Absolutely,
The Moira Finucane show is on at the Chinese Museum,
Is it?
opening next weekend. Yeah,
Well, it must be part of it.
Maybe.
Lots of shows and things going on. So thanks for popping in, Kate. What are you going to be seeing this next fortnight?
Meet Me at Dawn. That's not an invitation. That's the name of a show at the MTC.
Sounds like a dueling thing, is it?
No, it's. I think it's about two women, written by an Australian Chinese writer. I think. And there's Rent the Musical, back again. We'll think about that. And the Finucane and Smith, I'm just considering when and how and if I get there. So who knows?
Because you will never pass any opportunity to see Moira Finucane do anything.
You're pretty close. Yeah. Although it's usually more Davey who works with her in the shows.
Yes.
She's not in this one. I usually say that about her.
And what's coming up next week, Nick?
Oh, I can't remember.
You can't remember.
That's
It's
next. I'm sorry.
going to be so fabulous.
Yes.
So you've been listening to Arts Weekly on 3MBS.
Thank you, Philippa.
Thank you to Nick Tolhurst and Kate Herbert for popping in. Thank you again to our fabulous people that called in or popped in. Get out and about in Melbourne. Coming up, we have music in Melbourne with Jess, and she is actually going to be interviewing someone about the pre-festival concert for the St Kilda Festival that is happening on the Friday night before the St Kilda Festival. So it's quite the weekend. There is so much going on in and around Melbourne. Do get out there, check the internet. There's lots of things there, and get engaged. Thank you for listening to